Welcome back to Joe's Stunner Boxing. So Chantelle Cameron, having left Matchroom, I think only yesterday, has signed with Frank Warren's Queensberry. She's gone over to the other side of the street. all that bollocks. And she gave a string of interviews looking very shiny-faced. She was, I don't know whether she was sweating, but her whole face looked like she'd cleaned it with Mr. Sheen. But she was talking about Matchroom and the switch, and she talked a bit about being trained by Grant Smith now and how she got on well with Jamie Moore, but the trek to Manchester became too much, and she said that the logistics weren't as good, So I had to sort of stay close to home. I got sick of travelling, and maybe she just wanted to freshen things up. But with Matchroom, she didn't deny what Eddie Hearn had said when he was asked about the situation. Hearn said, we made her millions of pounds, we got her lots of opportunities, she became undisputed, I'm proud of the work we've done. And she said, yeah, that's true, they did get me there, they did, I made a lot of money with Matchroom, I made lots of friends, really, really great people, but she said we were never close. And I think she's talking about herself and Eddie Hearn. That's the impression I got, anyway. And the reason, one of the things she said that was really revealing was they didn't promote me well. Now, that was an interesting comment, because having said, they got me a ton of fights, I became undisputed. She fought Mary McGee, I think she'd already won a belt by then. And then she fought, who was it now? McCaskill was one of the fighters. She decisioned. That's a good name to have on your record. And she was doing fantastic. She did fantastic. She won. She was undisputed. She won all those belts, including the Ring Magazine one. If you strapped all the belts onto her, she'd have disappeared. You couldn't have seen her. She won so many belts. But she said, I was badly promoted. And I think what she means is that she was always going to play second fiddle to Katie Taylor. Well, she signed with Matchroom in 2020, Chantelle did. And I think it was inevitable. It's inevitable if you're a big promotional outlet that you will have a pecking order, a number of different fighters, and they'll be in a certain order, and certain ones will be prioritised. I think that's inevitable. And although they were at different weights, Katie was at 135, undisputed, Chantelle's 140. Inevitably, they were going to clash. It seems pretty obvious to me. Because that's a natural barn burner. And Chantelle said very revealingly, when I spoilt Katie Taylor's homecoming in Ireland, that first fight, that defeat, the only defeat of Katie's career, they, meaning Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, were heartbroken. And afterwards, nothing had changed. They didn't say a word about me. They didn't promote me. They didn't put me at the top of the tree. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's an interesting comment. I think that's a very interesting comment, because what it means is, yeah, you got me. I made a lot of money. You got me all the opportunities. Great, I took them because I won all my fights apart from the last one. And she seemed to imply she didn't badmouth Katie Taylor at all. How can she? Katie's great. She said, she's done a lot for women's boxing. I respect her and so on. But she did imply, well, a Serrano fight is an easier fight. I mean, Serrano's a smaller woman anyway, less physically powerful, knocking on a little bit. And Chantelle did seem to blame Taylor more than Matchroom that the third fight didn't happen. The rubber match didn't happen. Now, I know, I think that may be true, but I think Matchroom are quite happy for Taylor to go and fight a smaller, older woman, especially when you consider the age Katie Taylor is now, rather than Chantelle Cameron, who's still only 32. And I think probably what's going to happen is, now that Chantelle is with Queensberry, they will build up that third fight from, again, opposite sides of the street to be this big clash. And then there's a bit more of a backstory, a bit more narrative now that Chantelle's gone over to Queensberry, and Warren knows how to manoeuvre people. He's very good at that, him and Queensberry are. So I don't think that rubber match is dead in the water, but it was very interesting to hear, to sort of try to get inside, play amateur psychologist, get inside someone's head and think, okay, you've made a ton of money, you've become undisputed, but was it your ego was pricked by the fact that Katie was still top of the tree, that Matchroom were disappointed when you won. That, in a sense, I get it. I do get it, because maybe building a legacy within the industry is not enough. Maybe Chantelle is the type of person who feels who her ego and her psyche is such that she wants to be presented as a crossover star, a massive star, and she expects her promoters to do that. And I think she's got a point. There. Normal service was resumed when Katie got the rematch win, and probably from there, once the third fight fell through, at least temporarily, Chantelle thought, I can't do this anymore. I need to freshen it up. It's kind of like when Anthony Yard fought Lyndon Arthur, and Lyndon beat Anthony in the first fight, and immediately there was a rematch, and Frank Warren did nothing to. He was very much on the side of Anthony Yard. And was delighted when Lyndon got beaten in the rematch, stopped in 4 rounds, and then Lyndon left Queensberry. You've also got when Joe Joyce was matched with Daniel Dubois. Daniel is clearly one of Frank's pet projects. He likes Daniel. He did get Joe a couple of good fights, big fights against Zhilei Zhang. But what happened after he lost to Zhilei Zhang? He was back at a leisure centre fighting Cash Alley, Yeah, not good, is it? I understand why fighters, they have to have faith in their promoter, that their promoter is going to fight their corner and promote them to the absolute hilt, to the point where they're actually trying to make them crossover stars. And you can talk about, this is the era of social media, and therefore fighters have to promote themselves. Yes, that is true to an extent, but a promoter isn't just about the logistics of a promotion. A promoter is supposed to promote his or her fighters, and Hearn is very, very good at doing that. Hearn is a blowhard, and he's mouthy, and he puts spin on it, and he's very good at the whole politicking. So I suppose Chantelle, I can understand why she's a little bit disappointed in that, but she's with Queensberry now, so we'll see how that goes. What do you think of this? Do you think? I mean, I think the third fight with Taylor will probably happen if Taylor gets through Serrano. Definitely. If Serrano beats Taylor in the rematch, a third fight there might happen. I don't know. Maybe not. But what do you think? As usual, comments below. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the subscribe button. It takes but a second. And that like button thing, give that a pop and all. And spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Tell all your mates who like boxing to come over. And even if they don't like boxing, tell them to come over. And build up the channel. All right. Thank you very much. I will catch you later. Bye for now.